Good evening and welcome to Gaming with Scott presents Behind the Masks, a Southgate media production. In this series, our heroes remove their masks so that you, the listener, can learn more about the player behind the character. We discuss topics of interest and encourage our players to go off the rails and down the rabbit hole. We hope this helps our audience get to know us better. Discussions and insights begin just after this music.
Oh, I'm excited.
Kat?
Hey, well.
Nope. So we have Cindy.
Hello.
Terribly sorry. No, it's all good.
Here's you, baby.
And I am Scott, but I'm going to turn it over to the other Scott. We have Mr. Somerville at the head of the table who has something he would like to... Go ahead.
Sure.
Good evening. Welcome to Gaming with Scott and Stargate SG10. Before we start tonight's game, I want to talk about mature gaming. As I've said, the game you are about to listen to is a mature game with adult themes. To explain that fully, I want to offer an example by way of contrast. As a gamer for well over 30 years, I never thought I would have to say the following. People should not play Pokemon Go at Auschwitz.
What?
Well,
They
that's a
should
start.
not play it at the September 11th Memorial, the United States Holocaust Museum, or at Kennedy's grave in Arlington National Cemetery.
Yeah.
Now, you may think my statement is obvious, but that doesn't seem to be true.
No.
Instead, we've reached a point where what should be glaringly obvious is not. We have reached a point in the devolution of our global culture where adults can't figure out such things for themselves. As gamers listening to this broadcast, you almost are certainly aware of Pokemon Go and what it is. You use your cell phone to capture anime monsters. Somehow, some people seem to think that it is acceptable when standing at Auschwitz. When a reporter from the Washington Post questioned the ethical propriety of playing the game at the Holocaust Museum, Angie, age 37, replied with the game's catchphrase, "Gotta catch 'em all."
Jesus.
Let's think about that a moment. Certainly I could live in a world where Angie wasn't in the gene pool. Certainly it could make you feel embarrassed by our hobby as gamers. But on reflection, I think it's more indicative of the growing inability for people to look inside themselves in a culture that has shifted from service before self to it's all about me. Apparently, while it might be all about them, they aren't seeing what they are. Gaming isn't a new hobby. I recall meeting the owner of my local gaming store owner as a teenager, and my surprise at discovering my father had been a loyal customer. Before my father passed away, he used to go there to buy backgammon sets and card sets. Now, my father was a member of the Merchant Marine in World War II and did cargo runs to Russia in some of the most dangerous waters in the world. My stepfather was a U.S. Marine and fought in the Pacific. They enjoyed leisure activities, just like the Romans did when they played dice on Hadrian's Wall. Gaming isn't new. But I honestly can't imagine either of them playing lawn darts at Gettysburg. So while gaming is not new, the inability to define what is adult and what is mature outside of an R-rated movie, appears to be. I want to talk about mature and adult themes in games. And to do that, I needed to illustrate that there is a glaring difference between being adult and mature and young at heart as gamers and being immature. If you lack the common sense and simple decency to put your toys aside at places that have been sanctified by suffering and sacrifice, then you're not young at heart. You are immature. Not only are you immature, you are shallow, self-absorbed, and you have no capacity for reverence, reflection, respect, or an appreciation for the sometimes painful things that have bound us as individuals to a shared humanity. That is context for you, the listener. Now, this is a mature and adult game, and the things that bind us in a shared humanity, as well as those things that are utterly alien, are going to be at the heart of it. There's going to be suffering, and there will be sacrifice, and you now have a context laid out for what is mature and what is adult. You will see worlds like Abydos, where the people who have faith of generations, a religion made physically manifest, torn away and revealed as a lie. As people ask what their world being turned upside down means. As they ask, who am I now? How do I define myself in my world when what I believed in is gone? What is the truth? You will encounter new species with different and unknowable values. You'll see the best and the worst that our players and the people they meet have to offer as difficult choices are made. There will be pain, there will be adult situations. There will be some lighthearted and some in deadly earnest. There will be events that confront our players' worst fears and tough choices where there is no right answer. There may be times where our team may fail, because even when we give our best, we don't always win. Our players represent humanity stepping out into the universe where the powers that be are playing a Game of Thrones. You're about to share in the experience of Stargate SG10, and it is my hope that you, like our players, will enjoy the experience and reach out to provide us input. Welcome to our game.
Nice.
And on that
Bravo.
note,
now if
let's take a quick sidestep, because I do want to open this up to something that we, the audience, were discussing at dinner.
Well, can I?
But yes, Scott is about to lose it, so...
Yeah. So, Pokemon was originally opened upon, or it was put upon a game called Ingress.
Yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Ingress was originally, and there are a vast number of people out there that play Pokemon Go that have never played Ingress. They didn't even know it existed. Ingress was all about exploring, opening your horizons, finding new and interesting places in the world, like the Holocaust Museum, like Auschwitz, like Kennedy's grave at Arlington. They were about sharing really unique places in the world and around you, in your country, on the surface of this planet, and going and ferreting out the place just to have been at the place, to see these unique pieces of art, these unique pieces of religious iconography, these unique locations. Take that, smear it, slap a coat of Pokemon on it, and hand it to the lowest common denominator of our gaming society, and you will get people who will Pokemon in the Holocaust Museum.
And not even gamers.
Right.
I've got people at my work who have never even heard of gaming who are thrilled with Pokemon Go and play it every day.
Now,
That's interesting.
Now, the individuals at the Holocaust Museum did have a flip out when people were playing. And even worse, a week or so in, week and a half in, there are air-type Pokemon, and there are poison-type Pokemon, and therefore there are poison gas-type Pokemon.
Oh, Jesus.
And one of them did show up at the Holocaust Museum. It's a random generator. It only takes such amount of time, and then, oh, look, there's that time. They were a little miffed, might be the right word. They were downright...
Outraged?
You think?
Yes, but that's the type of thinking that you need to go in and go, okay, well, are there places that we don't want Pokemon to show up? Are there certain places that we don't want to associate with certain types of Pokemon, for instance? That needs to go into mature gaming as well. So Ingress was the foundation. And everybody goes, well, gee, why are all these Pokestops? They're all churches and stuff. It's like, well, God never did anything for you except for Pokemon. Thank you. If you're an atheist, you can thank God for all of the Pokestops in your area.
Wow.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I digress. Scott, where were you going to take us? So I just wanted to throw that out there and say it was built on Ingress, which was more about... And I've met Ingress players who are really, like, on the opposite team, who are like, hey, good to see you. Yeah.
Green
like,
team or blue team?
I'm a member of the Resistance. I'm the blue team. You?
Smurfs.
She's a frog. I hate that. So we went over to Fort Bend and started knocking it down. And then all of a sudden, we were knocking down portals, and they were switching right behind us. So we pulled off into a parking lot where there was a portal, and we stopped and got out of the car and showed them our screen, pointed. They showed their screen back, and then we walked over and went, so you're on the other team? Okay. And we met some great people knocking down portals.
You got lucky.
Yeah?
And then
There
there's
are some
other
crazy people out
who are
there.
Yeah.
Gamers who have been gamers for decades who could care less about Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So
Yeah, I know a couple people that nearly got run off the road by members of the other team.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, and there are, of course, again, there's bad fish in every barrel, or however you want to say it. But the majority of people that I met that played Ingress were very open, were very nice. It was a very social platform. It was meant to be mature. and meet new people, find new places. With Pokemon, I've had a good response in that you can tell when there's a lure on a stop and there's 4 cars in the parking lot. They're just sitting, like they all just kind of converge. I rolled up, flashed a screen. I told my son, I said, show him your screen, give him a thumbs up, and they went, ha, and they flashed their screen right back. So, but when you take that and you make it as widespread to the lowest common denominator, there are a lot more bad fish that will come out of the woodwork when you got to catch them all.
And when it's a competition instead of cooperation,
Right.
then you get people increasing anger and hatred.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't like that.
That's one of the nice things about Pokemon, though, because I went down to Greenwood Mall.
Teams?
But there are 3 teams, and you can't tell where the other people are unless, like Scott said, you see a lure go down and you see 4 cars parked on a stop.
Right.
But I went to Greenwood Mall to catch Pokemon, and you just went outside by the fountain by Fridays in that area where that is, and there were just people sitting around everywhere. And they were like, Pokemon? Yeah. Hey, there's this thing popping up over here. And it pops up for everybody. So it's not such a competition to get to it.
Okay.
And that's a really
It's
nice thing
just
about that.
The stuff I've seen, like on Facebook, has been almost as venomous and filled with vile as the political stuff that I've.
Wow.
And that's the part where I say, okay, this is not fun anymore.
It's a game.
I know, but
Yeah.
when it gets to be that full of,
So,
competitive hatred.
so let me talk about that
That
for a
I don't
second.
like.
Right.
Agreed.
So what team are you in Pokemon?
Yellow.
Oh, that's so sad. I'm sorry. I mean,
What team are you?
Valor, Team Red. And what I did was I was thinking about joining Team Blue. I really was. I was going to be Team Mystic because I was like, oh yeah, there it is, blue and Ingress, blue and thing. I can do this. Would be awesome. And then it went, well, here's Sparkly, and I'm the yellow person. And I went, okay, Derp, move along. and then the team leader for Blue came out and went, I'm Blanche, and I went. Well, I mean, I literally blanched at the name and went, okay, well, that decided it. Who's the next one? And said, I'm Sparky McSparkerton on Team Red, whatever. I don't even remember the name, but I was like, I don't want Blanche. I joined Team Valor because I like competition. I like to be out there, and I will pull up other Team Valor members for being a-holes like that. I've had Team Valor members go, and I will go, whoa, are you Team Valor? Then you need to check that right now because that's inappropriate. You can stop. What team are you? Team Valor. Do you want to throw down? I'll take you. And they went, it would be nice. And so I check other Team Valor members when they get to that edge, and I go, whoa, 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 that's not acceptable. Be nice. Of
But
course,
not everyone does
we're
that.
already better than that.
And not everyone accepts
right.
that.
Right. Well, which is one of the reasons why I joined the team, is because I've had people go, oh, your team, and I'm like, okay. And then another jerkwad shows up, and then I check them, and they go, wait, aren't you Team Valor? And I'm, yeah. Well, then why did you tell them to stop? Well, because they're jerks, and I'm not. And they went, but aren't you Team Valor? And I go, well, yeah, I am.
Isn't that like Team Valor's motto?
Yeah. Jerk McJerkington the third. And I like to check that because it's fun. I like competition. I like, you poke it.
Yeah, I know you do.
we make fun of each other, but anyone else, I'm the only one that's allowed to make fun of you guys. Somebody else makes fun of you guys, we got a problem. And it's that type of. I like the fun and the poking and the thing, but when it gets like when there's kids nearby, I have an 8 and a 10-year-old. I'm out with my kids. You're gonna start screaming obscenities. No, we're not gonna have that. That's not gonna work.
Also don't like teaching the kids that type of hatred against others that
Sure.
aren't on your team, your group, your clique, whatever. That's there
Because
needs to be less of that.
you sit back and you say, well, how could a group of people spew hate and bigotry and support that as a stance for their very life? Who's running for president and the thing then
Exactly.
at this point? Go ahead, back to you.
Well, and that's one virtue that we've got of a sit-down game. I mean, while I enjoy Ingress, I've not tried Pokemon, but I know it's an evolution of the same, so I appreciate what it is. I enjoy Second Life. I enjoy online gaming.
Mm-hmm.
But there is a drawback when people are glued to their screen that they don't look up and notice the other person. And you
Or
don't
don't
get
even
that kind
care
of
about,
you don't typically get that kind of atmosphere in a sit-down game. where you're face to face with the other players. It's very personal.
When you're looking at a screen, you can't tell that you've just hurt somebody.
Right.
When you're sitting down with them, you can't usually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes
You know,
sense.
you can see if they're looking like they're pissed or looking like they're upset.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But what I'm
It's-
getting at is there's a
yeah.
desensitization
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
when you're tuned into something other than the other person.
It's that same problem when you're driving down the street and everybody, and that one guy decides to start screaming at the other driver and shaking his fist as though the only universe that exists is what's inside of my windows. So that I'm, and it's like, and then we both stop at the light and I pull up and, hi buddy, how you doing? And I've had people the most violent, and I mean got out of the car, kicked his car, like kicked the door shut, kicked in his side panel, was when I looked at the fellow I'd pulled up to the thing and went, and stuck my tongue out at the guy like I was in third grade. Literally just went, and looked at him and went like this. And he, I mean, you'd have thought like I was waving a gun. The response, you talk about mature gaming, the response was purely you're back in grade school and someone had just taken your life. I mean, they lost it. And I was just like, oh, wow, made my right-hand turn and left. And in my rearview mirror, this guy's throwing things at my car. I mean, it just, what the hell? And it was all...
You have that effect on people.
Completely.
Yes, you do.
A little bit. But it's that maturity factor where when you're at a table, you're interacting, you get the nuances, you get the understanding. When you're behind a screen or when you're in your own little isolated environment and you're not interacting, you don't get that. And that's where we have a benefit that other people don't.
Mm-hmm.
So, back to mature gaming. I'm going to draw this conversation back to where we started with our very first game session, which was men and women and how they roleplay. And I think we've had some really good examples so far, especially with the ladies, in that they've been very careful so far with some of the activities they've been doing, exploring an awful lot of things going on.
Very careful
Very careful.
with everything.
With everything. Perhaps not how you wanted it to go. It didn't go the direction you wanted.
At least we don't draw first and ask questions later.
Exactly. And there's the guys.
I'd do it again. I ain't scared.
Yeah, you do like to kind of jump the gun. And
He's
shoot
the
it.
jarhead. He doesn't have much between the ears. Let's
Quick
just
draw
be
McGraw
real.
over there.
So we have the hunters versus the gatherers going on.
Yeah, we like to gather information so we know what to avoid.
Yeah, so sexist.
Who to shoot and who not to shoot. You know, it's important things to
I
know.
didn't shoot.
Well,
Just got blue balls.
You did.
Well, you shot something. It was just...
Well, no, not yet.
Are you
Right now,
saying-
he's currently just filling.
You're saying I missed the mark. That's what you're saying.
No,
I think she's saying the clip is empty.
Oh,
Open
I was
open
gonna
for
say,
business then.
I was going to say currently you're just philanthroping, but you know,
Hey, come on.
nah, I'm just saying. So no, you did pull kind of early. I mean, even for a jarhead, you were like, "Well, so I think there's some tension between me and the captain." Rifle!
I thought that guy was.
Stick a gun in his face.
I
What
thought
the
he was
hell?
going to eat you.
Then let him try. He'll break a tooth. It'll all be good. I bring that out in people. It's okay. Don't.
That is true.
That's a thing. So, with that,
Put up with this BS.
I don't want it to go. It's going to have to go. You know, it's going to go sideways, right? You know, it's going to go south because we don't know what happened with Turnus. He's
Hello,
out there
Daddy.
somewhere doing something. I don't know what's going on. So, but that's going to happen. You are correct to bring it back, Scott. Two different play styles that have been. We should probably switch seats. Like we should split it up the group.
And
because I don't
equally
know.
effective
Yeah?
in their fashion.
Oh,
The
see,
right
and I
time
don't
and
think
right
we were.
place.
I don't think we were nearly as effective as those two.
It's situational.
Yeah. Nice shooting, Tex.
Didn't shoot at all.
Hey,
Didn't even
if
do
we
it.
need dinner,
Yeah, good point. And he's smart enough not to wander on the desert. We love him. He didn't go out by himself and die. I was waiting for you to be
No,
dead.
I will slice your tires.
I heard it coming. He was like, well, how far do you get? He's like, well, I just kind of wander out there. He's like, well, how far do you get? Well,
No.
not. I don't lose sight of the camp. And I saw somebody
I'm
go,
not freaking
"Oh."
Moses. I don't want to wander for 40 years.
Yeah, you wouldn't make that.
That's not
and
fair.
I literally saw Somerville go, oh. He was like, I was going to kill him.
Jeez.
Or do
Both-
something interesting
Well,
to him.
no.
Both Scots.
First time I've been gaming with him, I was, is he going to make it that easy?
You were going to say the first one's
Thank-
free? You sick.
5 more feet and there's a
Thank you
sandworm.
for not killing me yet.
Yeah?
The night is young.
But see, there are so many more interesting things he could have done other than kill you if you had gone wandering off.
Agreed.
Oh, yeah. But you were mature. It was very good that you didn't shoot anybody. You didn't wander off on your own. He's such a good boy.
He didn't
Proud
go.
of you.
He didn't go Treasure of Sierra Madre. Come on.
Right? Yeah. Butch and Sundance.
I see how this is
entire-
going. I'm labeled as the kid in kindergarten who ate all the paste and got pissed because there was none left. This is what I see. It was delicious, by the way. All of you can go to hell.
Well, now, then I would like to back up, okay? Josh, how much role-playing experience? You've been role-playing since 2004?
Yeah, 2004, 2005.
2004. So just a little over 12 years, 13 years.
So he's got
Sure.
a decade under his belt.
So
That's experience.
That's right. Versus 4, maybe 5 times is the experience on the other side of the
yeah.
table. I'm not pointing
We're
you
not
as the
saying-
youngster, but you were the one that was like, well, I'm just learning. And there it is. There it is.
Where'd you park?
You're right.
Exactly.
No, really.
Because it wasn't until my LARP career was old enough to drink that I really thought I had a handle on all of that. When you talk about mature gaming, I mean, I'm not thinking your gaming should have an age, but you know what I mean.
How old is your gaming?
How old is my gaming? My
Yeah.
gaming started in 1980.
Holy Jesus.
Lightweight.
Yeah, I know, and I'm not the heavyweight at the table here. I am not, but that's coming up on 40 years. Yeah,
I would just like to say, Scott, your gaming career is older than me.
yeah.
Yeah.
Shut it. All right, good, great. You have that youthful,
See,
vibrant
these
look
two
about
are
you.
The young ones. Right here.
Yeah.
Eh,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah, a little bit.
Youngish.
Yeah, I didn't know you were Medicare age, though. I mean, jeez.
I was what?
Medicare age. I was just saying.
Oh, you're funny. No, it'll still a couple years before I get my AARP card. So, short little side
3
story.
years and I can get the AARP card.
Right?
I
3
take this.
And your gaming career gets the AARP card, or
No,
you do?
me.
Okay. So my wife
Discount City.
is turning 50 this year, so she's got the AARP thing, and she's actually loving it. That's very funny. But we LARP and we use the lodge, brother lodge members, brother Masons. He and I are both Masons. We use the lodge. It's like $5. It's relatively inexpensive. Everybody gets to go play. It's great. A kickback of that money goes to the lodge. Like,
Good.
yay!
That's good.
That's good stuff.
Everybody
Yeah.
wins.
Everybody wins. So in the meeting notes, LARP, live action role playing, LARP, was spelled by the secretary who apparently got his AARP card like near 50 years ago. Like I didn't even know they were around that long.
Brother Wayne.
Brother Wayne, right? He's been the secretary for 25 years. Let's just put it that way. Wrote it as LARP, LAARP, and I went, I'm not that old. I'm not that old. So, funny side note, moving back to mature gaming, you are a youngster at the table, and apparently she is a youngster at the table. I mean, I'm not going to say anymore. I'm in a mood that would get me in trouble. I'll get slapped, and then somebody will hear this, and then I'll get fired. So, mature gaming.
Yeah, but as I was saying, mature gaming, mature and
Keep saying
adult
that. Keep going.
don't
Sorry.
necessarily have to mean what you see in a PG-13 versus R. I mean, we're talking about mature themes handled in an adult fashion.
Right.
Like great literature. Handles very...
And for the listening audience, I assigned some homework to our 4 players. Who saw the fan film Severus Snape and the Marauders over the week?
Oh, I forgot to look that up.
I did
think
not.
I saw that.
Yeah, I did not.
Unfortunately, it was about 5 years ago.
It's about
Or no.
2 months old.
Then no,
Alrighty
I
then.
have not seen it.
JK.
Okay.
So what we need to do is a
seen
screening
a
before this.
different
Because none of us did our homework.
For Severus Snape and the Marauders, it is on YouTube. Great piece of fan fiction, great piece of fan filming. Good, mature, adult story set in the Harry Potter universe. Great example. And I'm so going to beat you, people.
Well, because we didn't do our homework.
Yeah.
None of us. It's okay.
Does that mean there's going to be a pop
I
quiz?
apologize.
That'll be something.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, there'll be a pop beating or something. I don't know what.
There'll be a pop, and we'll all look to red. Why did you pull the trigger?
Yeah.
It's okay as long as you yell surprise first.
Oh, yeah. I'm waiting for that to happen.
Surprise
So-
philanthropy?
Surprise philanthropy.
I know
Philanthropic.
you have reasons
Nice.
why you haven't, but I'll forgive you.
Well, we've been having a discussion about this all evening. What is a really good, advanced, mature story? For instance, for the listening audience, one of the best series you've ever seen or never seen back in the mid-'90s, Prophet. Fantastic show. If you have not seen it, I do highly recommend it. Adrian Pastar at some of his best.
Yes, absolutely. But
With
it's
a
very
story that in the mid-'90s was so advanced that really it made people cringe, and it only lasted one season. Today, people would just be eating it up.
Wow.
But
I think today people would be just slavering over it. I
oh,
mean,
yes.
because it was shocking enough. I mean, we're talking, when you look in the whole Twin Peaks, you got the whole Glenn Close cooks the rabbit. When you got all that, like at the time, those were crazy to the point that you just went, "Whoa, that is so far over the edge." It's not even funny. This is right there, if not further, and it was jaw dropping.
Jeez.
Well, there's that, and also it dealt in something that an awful lot of TV shows at the time didn't, which was a continuous story arc. I mean, it had shows that stood on their own, but there was a continuous story, which is not really something that's been bought into until recently. We've gotten things like Game of Thrones,
House of Cards.
House of Cards. The idea is that the audience is adult enough to have the mental
Follow.
capacity to follow a continuous story,
attention.
which is what's at heart in a role-playing game.
Right. Well, and that's what pissed me off. That was one of the few things that pissed me off about House of Cards. Was everybody and their brother was like, "Whoa, this is a drama that goes back, and there's story arcs that are the entire season long. We've never seen that before." And literally, I was screaming, "Profit!" at my computer screen as I read these reviews. Don't get me wrong. I love House of Cards. Season 4 was the best season they've had so far, and it was amazing. However, so was Prophet. And people are like, "Well, this is the first time this has ever been done." No, idiots. Like, go back and watch this. This could have been 10 years in the making, and it would have been Law & Order meets House of Cards meets Game of Thrones in the boardroom. I mean, it's Ventrue the way Ventrue should be played.
Amen.
Meets American
Duly
Psycho.
noted.
Meets American Psycho. Absolutely. We were just outside of Barstow when it all kicked in, and it went down ugly in a bad way. Oh, it's amazing. I mean, it's literally the way, if you ever, for the vampire players out there, you ever want to play a Ventrue, go watch season 1 of Prophet, learn what you need to do it right, and there's your template.
Duly noted.
So what else you
So,
got? What else you
well,
got?
I'm going to kind of open it up to the floor. Any thoughts from the players as far as how the game's been going on the themes? Cindy, you've got a smile.
I liked the twist where it was pointed out that we could very well be the villains here. Coming in, destroying somebody's culture who's native, indigenous,
I didn't like that
just
at all.
because, well, we're...
And how's that resonating with your character?
She's taken it to... She's thinking about it.
You almost said taking it to heart.
No, because
Like, no, I didn't.
she's taking it inside here. She's thinking about it. She's not convinced that she's on the right side just because she's on this side. Is how I should put it.
So you think we could be the bad guys?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I had to point it out and that we were the bad guys, and I went, nope. Nope.
And as the commander of this unit, how are you getting along?
Yeah, to speak to her point about being pointed out as the bad guy, I did a double check and said, okay, I need to make sure we're not the bad guy. So thank you. I'll stick my tongue out at you.
She's got another code aside from the military. She's got the medical code,
Right.
which first and foremost is do no harm.
So what I need to do is I need to make sure that me and the people that I'm with and my men are of the utmost moral fiber. It's not like we just fall out and start screwing the natives.
Sorry.
Oh, wait.
That wasn't.
Sorry, too late.
That
Oops.
wasn't in the handbook.
Isn't don't fraternize somewhere in the handbook?
Too many syllables for this character. Sorry.
Only with fellow military.
See? There we go.
Welcome to the mid-90s.
So,
Nice.
just got the sign off, sir.
Okay. Oh, that's terrible. So, from that standpoint, I'm trying to. The revelations at the very end of last session were near crippling. I'm still gonna be reeling from what the implications are of what the young ladies have signed us up for. When it came to you've got an insurmountable societally crushing bad thing that has come and literally stole your children in the night. We're gonna go fight the boogeyman. Great.
We have a ship. We're gonna go we're gonna go on this thing called the Odyssey. Is that cool? Good.
Yeah.
Awesome. Good touch.
So I'm reeling, and I think the more stressors that it will either become too much to handle, in which case I'll have a fight or a flight reaction, or we're going to have to circle the wagons here pretty darn quick, or gag order someone's.
Okay, I guess that means the nurse needs to get out the rhino.
Get out.
The rhino tranquilizer.
Yeah, the rhino tranks.
Where's that trank gun when you need it?
Nice. So hey, what do you think there, Cap?
Oh, I didn't say you were
Animal
wrong.
husbandry is her secondary specialty.
Oh yeah, she's a vet.
You have to pay for that on YouTube, or what is?
Wow. Carry on.
Can you say genetics?
Compadre.
Yeah.
Josh,
Something that I really like, it's an internal struggle for this character, realizing that our side is both the good and the bad side. I mean, with Turnus and his group, and then our group. So, trying to find out where that line is for our orders, and if this character would go as far as to save some of the indigenous and kill or attempt to kill one of Turnus or his group, that's a big point of turmoil for him. He doesn't know what the answer is. He didn't realize that we're not all... He knew that there were different sides, different orders, but realizing that they are here probably just to exploit and take advantage of everything, and we are trying to do the goodwill tour or what have you. So that's different for this guy.
and how do you feel about that in relation to your orders?
Well, I will follow my orders to the T, and what I am struggling with is if I'm going to have to put somebody down from my side who's interfering with those orders.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And from the lady who has been dealing with these people closest.
It's definitely something new for Mo. She's not used to studying cultures that are still living. She's more used to studying ancient cultures that she doesn't actually have a direct effect on. So it's something that she's having to come to terms with, and she's really kind of flailing in the water and doesn't know where to go with it. Mm-hmm. So that's her biggest thing right now, is figuring out how do I interact with these people as well as trying to study their culture and figure out their language.
How do you find your center? What's your island in this tumultuous storm? What's your touchstone, as it were?
I think she's still looking for it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's going to work out so well for us.
I know, right?
I am still lost, adrift in a sea of no.
Just trying to do the right thing, whatever that thing might happen to be.
Nice. I still think you should make yourself a god.
Has she thought about how she's not going to be able to study the culture because it's already tainted?
But see, even then, there's a culture to study as it exists, with the taint or otherwise.
Is she going to be
think about that phrasing too much.
studying the evolution
Whoa.
of the culture?
What did I just hear here?
I heard
Is
taint.
she
Don't
gonna
worry
be
about it.
okay
I heard
studying
moving
the
on.
evolution of the culture.
If she can find enough any kind of historical records, whether written or oral, I think it would be interesting for her to be able to study that. But as it is, I think she's just going to have to study the culture the way it's presented, and go from there, and how it evolves from the point where we entered through the future.
Yeah.
May I ask a question? And the storyteller can moderate this question perfectly fine. So, Abydos did not have writing. Okay, so writing was abolished by Ra. So you would have to orally work the taint out if you were going to have to...
Yeah. But this
That was
society...
I just got flipped off. So you were talking about mature gaming, and I just talked about orally working the taint, and she just flipped me off across the table. Now, I think maturity levels are plummeting all across this thing. I think we're
Turning a very special color red too.
Oh, wow.
That happens.
This is positive.
Did you
though.
like the
This is
setup with
positive.
the writing thing? Because she thought I got all serious all of a sudden, and she was like, "Where's it going with?" Yes, that's
Hey.
part of a thing. Ta-da!
This is a serious cultural research
Exactly.
question. Wait, no, it's not.
No, it's not. Son of a...
The oral of this society is fabulous.
coming.
We need to continue to delve in to understand it.
Says the
Fill
guy who
those
already
tropics.
knows.
Yeah. Oh, that's just... And again, here's your
Here's your sign.
example of mature gaming or mature role playing. Yeah. You were like, because she did. She sat forward. She was all like, "Oh,
No.
it's a mature question about." No, it's not.
No.
Son of a.
Penis.
It was
Come on.
yeah, right. That's the appropriate medical term. The doctor will vouch for that. It's clinical.
Phalanges. What?
Stop it.
Dancing phalanges.
Wow.
And we've gone off the rails.
There it is.
Again.
Wow. So is that the type of mature you were looking for, Mr. Somerville?
No.
He jumped in the No.
Actually, yeah, I'm.
He said yes.
If you can't
To a
laugh at
degree.
yourself, if you can't laugh
To a
at
degree.
yourself, you can't
You know,
laugh at anyone.
I am really gratified as a storyteller by the fact that people can find, a lighthearted aspect to this. That they're, the characters, in my opinion, as the storyteller, are mixing very well. I mean, we've got 4 players here, 2 of whom have gamed with each other. I've had a gaming history with Cindy for a long time, but everybody's gelling really well as a group. I think, and certainly you as the listener can tell objectively how they're coming together. But they've been finding humorous situations with each other and with what's going on around them, but they've not lost sight of their overarching mission.
Or what's important to him.
Yes.
Laugh or die.
But see, that's the thing. Life is full of serious and lightheartedness.
Oh yeah.
There's cruelty and there's love. It's not just one thing. It's everything.
So let me ask this one, and this is perhaps going
Well,
to
this
be...
is getting back to a conversation that I had with Gaming with Scott, which was, him asking me some time ago, well, Scott, the storyteller, what kind of universe do you run? And I basically told him, well, gee, it's not going to be pretty.
Yeah. He said it was Krakow sans the whimsy, and I went, what?
Think Mogadishu in 97.
Right. And that was and that informs very well into my next question, because, and it's, Cindy, to pivot off of your statement, I, as a person, deal with horror and tragedy and death and loss with humor.
Mm-hmm.
I remember...
You're going to get a barrel of laughs.
Great.
We've come full circle.
I could use some.
And there it is. Well, and I was at my great cousin Mike's funeral in New York at the age of 10 in the middle of this Catholic church. And I apologize for this bit of sanctity. And there was a pause right as what I said came out. And the entire church heard it. And there were rows around us that went, oh! And I was just like, I was just trying to be funny. I didn't know he was going to be quiet right then. And I had made a comment about the priest, who everyone was thinking, but nobody really wanted to say out loud. And it might have been a physical thing. And, like, literally it was like, and he's got a lisp. I mean, it was not good. And the entire people turned around to look, and I was like, I turned around too. I was
You
like, what?
should have turned with him.
I don't know. And so I've always used funny with the setup, like, well, the writing was banned and the thing to lead into the, and I always do, funny is my stress reliever. What do the rest of the people use to relieve stress typically? What do you use, Josh?
Well, everybody's staring at me, so I'm going to say humor.
Yeah, is it humor?
Yeah, humor that. And
Because I noticed that you got in your car and drove for 3 hours in a direction. I noticed you had to turn. Let's put it this way: he got stressed and needed to go for a drive to relax. He was wise and turned around somewhere around Terre Haute, right?
Oh, I remember this conversation. Yes, I did.
And he was plastered to the roof of his car, so mad and so like that he just went that direction.
Corporate America, there.
And then had called and had like an hour and a half, 2-hour conversation while he was on the road.
Hour and a half, and I
Hour and a
wound
half.
up almost in Illinois.
Yeah, and he was like, well, I was just driving. He said, I got a car, and I drove, and I went this direction, and I've got to turn around because there's Illinois right there. I was like, wait, what?
Hey, so giving you more facets to my answer. Humor, when I get really stressed, I go drunk uncle, and with that, I'm very direct. This is what we're going to do. Organization, boom, boom, boom. You don't want to do that? Smack. Do you want to do it now? That sort of thing. That's not the greatest. And then 3 is I get more verbose, and I just start talking stuff out.
Yeah.
Those are the big 3 probably for me.
Right on. Okay. Cindy.
Medication.
Well, medication, huh?
Since 16, yes.
Alrighty. For stress specifically, or?
Depression.
So do you? And I mean, I don't want to get too personal. Do you cave when it's
No,
stressful, or
when I get more stressful, I'll sometimes up the dosage. Sometimes I'll sit at the computer all night and write stuff.
Okay, interesting.
That's probably the biggest thing is writing.
Right on. Okay.
So you write, I talk.
Which is why those people who have not joined my game yet should. Thank you.
Wait, what?
Alrighty.
What game? What's going on?
Wow.
You just sealed your death
I
warrant.
was just gonna say you are doomed.
I know.
I don't know you now. Okay,
Dead to me.
Kat, what's your stressor? Like,
Well, depending on the situation, I do a few things. If I just can't stand to be around people, I'll go drive and I'll just have the music on and I'll just take the back roads. And as long as I'm in Marion County, at least, I know the cardinal directions, so I can go as far as I want and think, okay, I need to go back north and west, and I'll get home.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I need to know. It's all I need to think about. Other than that,
Circle
I just drive
Yeah.
and go. We're like Square City. Everything's in squares. Once you've been in England for a while, you appreciate the squares. Oh God, you do appreciate the squares. Otherwise, I'll just go sit somewhere and read.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
I'll escape the real world. I'll get into a book, and it doesn't bother me anymore.
nice. All right.
Mm.
So, storyteller, this is your opportunity to say, I work off my stress by whipping all of you people to death, or whatever it is that you do.
Disposing the bodies at a pig farm.
Well,
Right.
ironically, no. No, my stress reactions have changed a lot over the years. I think definitively when I entered the U.S. military, because you're trained to handle stress. If nothing else, you don't show you're stressed. I mean, you never show your stress to the people who are working for you in a stressful situation because you've got to maintain the image that everything's going to be okay. Even when you're like a duck on water, where everything looks very calm above water and meanwhile and below, everything's paddling wildly. But you just don't show it. So I very much understand Cindy's point of view in that you find things that relieve stress
Mm-hmm.
without, to manage, to cope.
And sometimes medication does that, and sometimes
Haven't
other
gone there
things
yet.
do there. Yeah. Well, I can tell you, it helps.
All righty.
You get on the right medication, and it can definitely help. I've been on the right medication. I've been on the right medication. I've been on the wrong medications.
Yeah.
Wrong medications are
I remember when I was in Saudi
Nightmares.
and they fired a missile my way. I was like, okay, no time for meds.
that's when you just
Yeah.
that's when you just rely on your family and your background, and you grin and bear it and get through it.
Exactly.
You know.
There's a lot to that.
All righty.
So, yeah, all the players are dealing with different situations and they're investigating the world around them. And they're finding things that I think appeal to them.
I've found that
resonate with them.
Yeah.
But they're also finding things that are kind of making them go,
I have found that
Things that make you go,
I cannot scream at my interpreter or my doctor. Stop! I can't. I can't do that. I might want to, but I can't.
He will by the end of the night.
Well, that's a thing. So part of me really wants to poke at or accelerate the idea of, I want the unknown. I want to find I want this new race and these new technologies, and I want all of the wonder, and I want to open the Pandorica, and I want all these neat things to pour out. With the
what happened when Pandora opened that box?
Right, and that's the problem, is what comes pouring out is not always right. And
You got cool new partners in life.
Right.
It's not shiny.
There was only one good thing, and that was what was left when she shut it.
Yeah, at the bottom of the box. And the problem is, hey, now I got friends, and they're in my colon. See, and that's that's not a good thing to happen. And
Especially if you're over the age of 40.
Wow. What?
Always get
Are you making fun of me?
No, colonoscopy. Age 40 and above, you got to do it.
He
Really?
went there.
Yeah.
No.
I thought it was 50.
No. If you have history in your family.
Well,
We
Yeah.
all have history in our families.
And they
We
scratch,
all come
they
from
scratch the
people.
taint or the gooch or whatever you call it, and you're good to go.
Wow.
No?
We'd prefer.
I
ask
have
the translator.
no idea what
we
you're
prefer
talking about.
oral history, is what we call it.
Just don't work the taint orally.
No.
Right. Just work the taint orally, and then we're fine.
Stick to dictation.
oh. Oh,
Wow.
Wrong? No? I'm sorry.
You gotta watch for the spit take. You gotta not
Gag
Timing,
reflex.
you have it.
timing.
I got one. I got
you
one.
has
That's
it.
it. Oh,
That's awesome.
about a third of the way through it.
That's what she said.
Well, I am
like
female,
this.
yes.
Oh wow! All right.
We are so
All right,
mature.
that's it. No
So,
maturity.
so speaking of no maturity at all at the table, we can be mature when we need to be, but when you
Yeah.
need us to talk about maturity, dude, that's not going to happen.
No.
It's just not going to
Na,
happen
na, na,
well.
boo, boo.
yeah.
She said nan and a boo boo.
Boob.
Wow.
But no, we can do it when we're in game. But no. Jeez, I almost killed
What the
somebody.
hell was that?
You know,
Breaking
you-
stuff, man.
You
I went,
get a whole lot more
Right.
Break it,
into
you
the
bought it.
springs.
start the damn game.
Not good. Behind the mask.
See? What did I say? Cindy was an hour? Who had an hour and 10? For Cindy to go, start the game, start the game, start the game. That's the thing. I think I called it.
This is good dialogue, though. It's good.
Yep. So
And it's
right
been
now,
good working you people into the story slowly, because as a storyteller, it's given me an awful lot to work with. I mean, particularly the first time I saw Scott seize up.
which time was that? Because there were a couple, and they're in the other room, and I'm going. I'm like, yeah, we can do this thing.
Why
We
does
can do this other thing.
Why does it
We'll
smell
bring
like-
your kids back.
Why
Just
does
gotta
it smell
relax
like
into
burnt
it, Scott.
toast?
Right? Yeah, I thought I had a stroke.
What?
I was like,
Yeah, burnt
did I
toast.
have a stroke? Did I just?
Are you the
seriously have-
commander of this thing or what?
Yeah.
Step up.
Yeah. You got health benefits. Suck it up.
I would like to point out for the listeners that when I rifle to the face someone, I was told to step up.
At this point, the readers should be able to access our website,
Medic.
at which point
I
they
hope
might
so.
want to peruse the orders that our commander has been given.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're supposed to play nice
And
help the local populace.
Exploit
And-
them for everything that they are
and
worth.
Set up relations and good relations and peace, goodwill, and harmony with the indigenous peoples above all else.
You're welcome.
But we didn't. But we don't have to like. Never mind. I'm not gonna. I'll say.
Well, hey,
that for
he's
in
married
character.
into it.
Hey.
Right?
Hey,
Yeah.
hey,
He married into the group, so there it is.
Agree to disagree. Just say.
Relations established.
Right? Yeah.
Oh,
There. it
well,
is.
let's face it, we are dealing with
You lied.
the U.S. military in
Yes.
the 1990s when the movie came out, which gave us such contradictory orders as our commander now has. The don't ask, don't tell policy, and sends players all the way across the universe armed with a nuclear weapon to make friends with the locals. So,
Seems good.
Exactly.
Nothing can go wrong.
Did we get a nuke?
no, you didn't, but in the
Oh,
movie.
they don't have. They didn't give us a nuke.
No.
I thought I requisitioned
movie.
one. Right, but I thought we
I'm
got
just
another
saying
one.
there's a trend here.
They're
Did
keeping
we-
it behind
Hey,
the counter.
Did you not requisition a nuke?
I asked for 2.
You might not have a
Son of a
nuke,
bitch.
but I've got everything I need to make a killer virus.
Yeah, I got razors. I can shave. I'm good.
Okay.
The best is yet to come.
And
does that
that'll
frighten
do
me?
us tonight for Gaming with Scott presents Behind the Masks. I'm now a little creeped out, and
No, he's not.
I don't want to go. Don't make me start the game because he's going to kill us. He's going to kill us all. Send a message. Get help.
Yeah, if the doctor decides.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, and I don't even want to go with Dr. Moreau over here, who's going to be like, well, I got 6 heads. It's not my fault. Well, it's sort of my fault, but that's what happens. I never saw a 6-headed baby. Great. It's going to be wonderful. It's
She
gonna be great.
decides that they're the villains. Who knows
Right,
what could
and
happen.
suddenly they all died. What's the popular? We don't have to worry about the minerals, sir. We can mine all we want. Yeah, they're all dead. What? Yeah, there is no indigenous populace. We were supposed to make friends with them. We just killed them all. Why? Because we could. Because they pissed off our doctor. Our doctor suddenly got a case of the morals, and they all got deaded.
You didn't say imperialism? My bad.
Oops. It was a colony, and now it's gone.
Yeah.
So, all right. Any last words before we part here, before we break the...
They're already dead. They don't have any last words.
Oh. All right. Well, then, as always, you'll hear from us real soon. And that'll do us tonight for Gaming with Scott presents Behind the Masks, a Southgate media production. You can always send us an email at gamingwscott@gmail.com or catch us on Twitter. Josh Elliott is at Asmodee369. Dan is at Malkware. Josh Jackson is at ActionJack853. And Rico is at R1CO. Or me, Scott T, at GamingWScott. You can also find us on Facebook at facebook.com/GamingWScott. Remember, superfans, the more you share, the more we make. If you love what we do, share it with your friends. If you don't love what we do, please share it with us. This show will only be made better by listener participation. Send us email or comments on Facebook, or send us a tweet of the things you would like us to discuss. We promise we will get your comments and topics on the air. And as always, you'll hear from us real soon.